everyone. So I'm so excited. I got another zombie request. People have been requesting how to draw a Walking Dead zombie for a long time. So I'm really excited. Thank you all new subscribers and people who've joined. Really appreciate it. So let's get started with this. First off, I'm using Paint Tool Sai. It was either between this or Sketchbook Pro. I really like Sai a lot. I don't know what it is. It just feels so good to me. It just clicks. So first I'm going to select the crayon tool. If you're not using digital, you can use Conte, it's called, and you can buy some at a hobby store, and it gives the same effect. So I'm going to make it fairly big. And then I'm just going to go over and make the background kind of dirty. And the reason is because, it's a zombie, so it's going to be grim. I'm going to make some parts a little darker. Just overall effect all around. And the reason I love drawing zombies is because you have to know enough about proportions and shapes, but it's something that you don't have to worry about, and this is why I'm going to have so much fun doing this. So all you do is take the crayon and it's set to Fuzztastic over here and Canvas Texture. So, and then if you want, that looks good enough, just dark. So let's get started. I'm going to take the pen tool and let's do this. Let's do this. So pen, I'm selecting black. Just make it's too dark. Start new layer above. It's too dark for some reason. I'm going to lower the density. So start with two basic, not really basic, but this is the easiest way I feel you can do it. Two little oval shapes, and don't worry about precise lines. One there, almost like little sunglasses, and then make a line that's about half of this, and another one right here. And I'm not using a reference photo. I looked at a reference photo, and that's what I have in my mind. It's because I really like the overall pose. Sorry, I just completely zoned out. So two little circle-like shapes. And then here, nose. And this is why I say zombies are awesome. You don't have to get precise lines. It's all about being messy. But you have to know proportions. So basically halfway, the eyes sit on this little mark. So I'm just going to sketch a little eyeball shape. And be creative, have fun. And the thing is, when it comes to a Walking Dead zombie, they are realistic. I looked at references, they don't really have like chopped off ears and things. They're pretty much, human forms. So that's why it's important to capture that. So, two little eye shapes, almost look like strawberries. And then proportion-wise, from the top of the brow, that's the brow mark. From right here, about to the tip of the nose, that's one section, and then from that section another length. From there to there is another length. It's about the same length from there. Then the mouth will be right in here. So basically you have these proportions, and don't worry about getting it perfect, but just enough so it guides you through this. And I'm just real quickly gonna erase. Oh jeez, I'm just gonna. So I just erased those lines. So here's where the fun begins. Right here, just make a line for the nose. Right here for the face. And it's going to be one of the female walkers. And these things are creepy, man. The noises they make and stuff. Oh my gosh, it freaks me out. I love the series, man. I'm so behind, but what I've seen I love. And so basically, from here to this point, it's about that high. So just sketch a line in. And it's about the same height as another third, because you're going to have hair and stuff. So overall, the hair will come in front. So I'm just making these marks. I really like using this background before. Right here is the cheekbone. Same on this side is another cheekbone. And good, huge tip when it comes to drawing zombies and drawing in general. Don't make things symmetrical. Like, don't make this exactly the same as this. That's where you want to get creative. Like right now, I'm drawing a very analytical. You know, I'm marking points, but that's just so you can learn the facial features, and you know, it's for you guys to learn. I hope it helps. But you know, now I got the basic form and the basic outline. Then the hair will come on this side, and so now is where the fun can begin. So now that you got all that, let's start with the nose. Then the mouth is going to sit right here, and of course the big mouths, these creepy, big, huge mouths is what it's all going on. So, and it's going to have part of the mouth completely torn off. So I'm just, excuse me, making this rough line where the skin's torn, and you'll see the teeth behind it. So let's get started. For the nose, lots of creases. This is where you can start really getting your lines in. And you can see I'm making these lines. And for the nose, the image, like I said, is a reference. I'm not looking at it once again, but I just remember the nose is torn apart. So just make a bunch of little flesh wounds. And oh my gosh, doing digital for this is perfect. That's why I'm glad I can go digital, because doing this on paper, you won't get the same kind of effects. But you know, bunch of lines. Can't stress enough when you're drawing zombies and things that are all falling apart and stuff. Tons of lines. You have this whole nose is kind of ripped apart, so you'll have maybe a little nostril in here. And just go with the flow. Have fun. I love drawing zombies, man. I love it. I love it. So another big nostril. You can make the nostrils kind of sick looking. Just remember, you can even make it bigger because you're going to see part of it. The flesh is coming off here. And word of advice when it comes to drawing, you kind of always want to jump. Not always, but it's good to jump around. So now I'm going to work eye creases. You have eye sockets, and on the Walking Dead zombies, they're very, very pronounced. So there's lots of wrinkles. I'm going to change this nostril. Like I said, Walking Dead zombies, very, very pronounced in the eye sockets. They're very dark. So make these very dark lines around the eye socket. Lots of creases and wrinkles. I'm just still fleshing out the nose. Eyes. So eyes are realistic. Some of the zombies have, you know, faded eyes where you can't see. But for this one, we're going to make a pupil that's kind of looking up. We'll make it looking up more. And they're usually very soulless, dark eyes. So you just want to sketch that in. Then lots of creases in here. And we'll go back and we'll just do the lines for now. And if you're doing this with paper pencil, draw the lines and then you can lightly shade with a light lead pencil and use your finger to rub over it to get the veins. I don't know what's going on. I'm just not wild about this nose. I'll finish the nose last. Something's bothering me. Sorry about that, everyone. Let me check my time. This is a long drawing too, so got the eye, and then this eye, same thing. And like I was saying before, don't make it exactly symmetrical. Make it dip a little lower, or get lots of good lines in. And we'll make this eye staring right at us. So draw the pupil directly. And you can even make little veins in the eyes. Make them look sick. Make a couple little veins, little water and stuff. And of course, lots of lines in here again. And when it comes to drawing like this, if you want to draw it realistic, it's a whole different way. I mean, I'm drawing it realistic, but I'm keeping it cartoony in the sense that it's solid lines, and I'm not, in other words, I'm not making it like realistic, like photograph, like the real actual people. But then for the nose, it'll just come up, make a couple of spots. But once you got the basic framework in, the brow is going to come up here. And generally you might see a little bit of the brow. Take a huge chunk here, marking. Let's work on the face. So you got this cheekbone here. And the cheekbone, like when we marked, it's a little bit below the nose, up top of the lip. But then I'm just going to follow this line. Just make it torn flesh. I'm just making little zigzags just all over. And over here it'll come out. And this is what's going to make it creepy. Yeah, I'm a zombie. And so of course right here you'll have the gum line. And the basic gum line will be somewhat like this. Then you have teeth on the bottom. And you won't see the gum line on the bottom. More up top, so about the gum line there. Then it'll go back under the face. So all this will be really dark. Once again, we'll shade all this in. Just working with lines. So for the teeth, make every tooth different. The gums will come down. They'll form these little shapes over the teeth. This is where it starts to look creepy. You have canines. You kind of want to make some canines in the back. Just have fun with the teeth, but make almost like these little rectangular shapes down. Leave a couple of teeth out. Chip teeth. Just however you want. This is the fun part. Want to make a lot of the teeth crooked. And remember that you can add blood to the teeth. Anything you want. But you want to kind of emphasize the teeth a lot. I'm going to raise this just a little more. I'm going to make this mark bigger. Mainly because I want to emphasize the teeth more. Make it look creepier. So just raise it up again with the gums. And here's the teeth. I'm going to go back in and put a little white to each tooth. Now make it as creepy as you can. You have a lot of blood, so take your time with the teeth. And this side again, lots of big lines. Creases. I'm not going to have the nostril. I'm just going to barely have the nostril. Actually, I'm going to have a big freaking huge nostril. I can't decide, but the actual sinus cavity is huge. So you can make it these big circles. I think this looks creepier. To make these huge circles. So just these little shapes coming up. and just shade it in. There we go. That's pretty much the overall form. Overall kind of form of it. You can make little saliva marks, blood marks in the teeth. Just come in and really shape the teeth better. I'm going to make the back really dark so you can see in it more. Just take your time. You can make just little lines like what I'm doing. It makes like this saliva effect. Add this cheekbone in. And the brow. So lots of stretch lines. Real quickly, let's do the dark areas. I'm going to take the airbrush. Actually, I'm going to use normal brush, simple circle, no texture. I'm just going to shade in these areas. I'm going to take regular black, lower the density, and that way we can start to see. Not that dark. Just lower. That way we can kind of see what's going on a little better. Because they have these real dark eyes. There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now it's starting to creep me like a zombie. So I'm just adding that in. Now it's starting to look like these freaky zombies. And of course the nostrils. And you can put shading on here. But of course I want to do back here real dark in the mouth area. So all this. Because once that pops out, you know, that'll make a big difference. I'm going to zoom in on the mouth, make my brush size smaller. See these little saliva things I was saying? Leave a couple of marks like that so it shows it. And just color it in with your pencil, whatever you're using. Really as dark black as you can, because you want to make it extremely black in here. You want to make sure there's nothing. Because this is going to give it that feature that it's really just a sick, dark pit of death that no one can escape from. And once you're infected, you're doomed. So that's pretty much it. And then I'd even leave more little lines and things. That way you can come in and add blood effects or whatever you want. I'll zoom out. I'll show you how it looks now. I'll show you the little difference. And really take your time. If you already see the difference, now you get this black spot. And that way it doesn't look, see, it looks kind of weirdly black right now. I'm going to go back with the brush density. And right in here it's going to be dark. Because that's kind of in the forehead of the mouth. That way it doesn't look too dark. That's a big thing when it comes to learning. Don't overwork an area or don't think it's too dark until you mess around other areas. Because a lot of times as an artist, you can get so affixed to one area that it's like you start to wonder, is it too dark? But instead of trying to make that lighter, instead of making this area lighter, try to work around it first, around the other areas. I hope that makes sense. It's like you're constantly balancing things and constantly trying to see what works best. I'm just adding a couple of dark, not too dark, a couple of dark lines up all in here. The pupil's real dark. And even this, the little area we did, make it dark. And I'm going to show you something I'm going to do at the end. I'm going to add just the lightest touch of color. Holy cow, we're 20 minutes in. Let's finish up. I don't want to make this too long, maybe 30-minute video. So real quick, just make some other torn marks. You know, torn flesh, just zigzaggy lines, things like that. And then for the hair, I'm going to change the thickness a little. And just for the hair, best advice, you want it to look straggly and messy, so don't make clean lines. Make a bunch of lines that just come down. And then I'm going to make the outside a little darker. Where the mouth is. Then add some blood effects. You know, especially where the tears are in the skin, you want to add lots of just really blood. So I'm not going to finish the hair completely. Wherever the hair is on the outside, make it the darkest line. That way it gives it more depth. And then just make it come like that. Once again, you want it to look coarse and dirty. Then the neck. Oh my gosh, I love drawing digitally. Holy cow, I love drawing digitally. Just feels awesome. As soon as you start adding the finishing lines to things, it really feels really awesome. So just, once again, lots of lines. Take your time, add a bunch of lines. And if you can, go back with some white to make it look all nasty looking, all corroded. Now I'm just going to add a couple of lines in here. Just to show the neck. Big line here for the muscle in the neck. You can even, if you want, add a couple of empty spots, you know, holes and things. Then for here, I'm just going to do the same thing. Make the flesh color. Best way to do rotten flesh is just a bunch of either swiggles, tear lines. Just make it look dirty but consistent. You don't want to make lines that contradict each other. And a couple little... And now that I'm using a different pen thickness, I'm going to go back and add a couple little spots around the eyes. I'm going to make it bigger. Notice I'm not making the line all the way around. In other words, I'm not continuing this line all the way there. I'm just doing part of it. And that's because you don't want lines to be... If you make lines completely closed, sometimes it doesn't add the same effect. So that's a big reason. And for the nose, again, just going over the tear marks. And it's all about, with this drawing, taking your time like all drawings. But big part is lots of hatches, lots of dirty lines. And like I said, just do the best you can. Real quickly to finish up, I'm going to add this dark under here, this whole area a little darker, a little more dark areas. And of course it's be a little darker up here, the brow. Add a couple of dark where it's on the side. You know, mess around with the shading. Shading is such a good friend when it comes to doing all types of drawings. And the creases up here, add dark. And of course, great thing is you want to make it... Oh yeah, you want to also add highlights. Even though with this type of drawing, you're probably saying highlights may not be good because highlights could ruin it, but you don't want to make the highlights too huge. So I'm just taking pure white, and for the eyes, I'm going to add a new layer, so make a new layer. That way it doesn't mix with the other, and just very lightly add white. Even if you want with this kind of stuff, add a yellowish color. That's too white now. I don't want it too white. Actually, I'm going to stick what I had. Just barely. Because if you make it too white, it'll look like a clownish look. And you want it to just enough. Same thing with the teeth. Add a little white. Not on the whole teeth, but just parts of the teeth. See, because right now I'm just giving an effect. Remember those little lines we made before? You can go back, make them white or clearish. But just a little white on these areas. And then for the blood, dark, let's see my time, dark reddish. And and once again, you don't want to make it too, you don't want the blood color to be too, like, for instance, you don't want it to be like this, where it's too bright or too, see how intense that is? If I was to do that, it would look funny. Like I said, it almost have this clown-like look. You want it to be a dark hue and you want it to be light, just like the rest of, and you want it to be very subtle. I hope this is a good lesson too. Like I said, all my drawings I teach how to draw something, but I'm also giving tons of just tips and tricks of how I learned to do things. Because you want it to be consistent. If I was to start making the whole thing this really eye-popping red, it won't look right. It'll look inconsistent. And then for the flesh marks here, I'm just adding different reds. And for the gums, I'm going to make it a little lighter red, but not every single one, just enough. Something like that. And finally, any other little marks you feel like you want to add. And this is very sketchy. It's nowhere from a finished piece, but it has the start to keep getting more finished. You know, just a couple of spots here and there. But I really hope you guys learned something. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate the support. It's going amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. This is mind-blowing how good it's getting. I hope this tutorial taught you something once again. And just a couple more lines here and there in the hair. Pure white again, real low density. Just make a couple of streaks. All I'm doing is so it looks like a grayish washed out hair, so it's kind of nasty. Because see what it's doing? Just by adding a little more color in the hair, it's starting to make a whole different effect now. You're getting a whole different feeling because now you can see that's hair, whereas before it was kind of didn't look like hair. So just come in, not every little spot, just make strands. $30. I'm meeting the 30-minute mark, baby. I'm a zombie, yeah, I'm a zombie. I'm a zombie, I'm a little zombie. I'm a zombie, an evil zombie, I'm gonna eat you. And last but not least, I'm going to add just a very, 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 very subtle touch of skin here and there. Nothing too major. I'm going to take skin, regular skin hue, very light, but kind of muddied. Same thing, using real light density. And just around these areas, I'm just blending it in a little more so it has that skin-like effect. Nothing fancy. barely anything, just barely on some spots. Just enough so it contrasts a little more from the just enough so it contrasts from the paper in the background. But ultimately, that's how you draw a Walking Dead zombie. I hope that helped everyone. Thanks for checking out. I appreciate it, and more videos to come. Thank you guys.